Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome back to the Blind Press YouTube channel and the Saturday nights or the Saturday afternoon Star Trek stream. We've got Hammer with us, and Skep should be joining us soon. Welcome back to a new time that we're trying out. First off, how are you doing, Hammer?
Good. How are you?
I'm good. We are here to talk about Deep Space Nine now, and the first two-parter in that series, which is called The Maquis. Now, before we talk about the episode, just a little bit of background um, on the Maquis. They are Federation citizens who are very, very unhappy at the treaty that has been established between the Federation and the Cardassians, and the fact that there is a demilitarized zone where uh, there are Cardassian colonies and Federation colonies, and these Federation citizens are absolutely convinced that the Cardassians will not hold up their end of the treaty, and the Federation has basically sold them up the river. And this is very important as we look at this episode, and there are many more Maquis-based episodes in Deep Space Nine. Um, Deep Space Nine is really the Maquis series. We hear about them a little bit in Voyager. We hear about them very briefly in TNG in like one episode. But in Deep Space Nine, the Maquis, basically, this is the series about the Maquis and the Dominion. Is how we look at this. So the Maquis episode, to summarize, begins with the destruction of a Cardassian ship as it's leaving Deep Space Nine. And this first half of the episode of the two-parter is basically trying to figure out who did it, why they did it, and we start finding out about weapons being taken to the demilitarized zone by the Cardassians, and it's honestly this two-parter is actually pretty action-packed. I know that you're not a Deep Space Nine fan, Hammer,
No,
but what did you think about this episode?
I thought it was pretty good. I thought the pacing was good. It was a good story. A little kind of disappointed with the ending of it,
Yeah.
but everybody had a good part to play. Gul Dukat was his typical good enemy.
Yes.
There was an appropriate amount of righteousness with Cisco. The space battles were pretty good. I'm a little perturbed about some of the filming angles and the battle sequences, but all in all, it was actually a pretty good episode. I enjoyed it.
I agree. I like Star Trek episodes where there are times where you kind of feel for the villain a little bit because it's good. I think it's good writing. And there are a couple of moments where you're just like, oh damn, that sucks for you, Ducat. Like,
Mm.
you're kind of like, oh geez, that like Ducat is a very well written villain, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Um Throughout the series. But there's a moment like near the end, and I'm wondering if it's the same thing that's disappointed you. Was that disappointed me was I felt exactly the same way Ducat did when Cisco let
Mm-hmm.
his friend go.
Yeah, very much.
I was like, what are you doing? Shoot him and transport his ass out of there. Like, destroy his ship and transport his butt onto yours. Like, what the hell is wrong with you?
I, I, I'm six of one and half a dozen of the other on the subject. I think a better line for the story would be that he would take another shot at him as he was leaving, but he would intentionally make sure the phaser beam wasn't strong enough to disable. In
Oh,
other
that
words,
would have been good.
I'm not going to let you get away with this. I want you to know that I can destroy you right now. I'm not gonna. But that would have solved the problem because Ducat would have said, "Oh, well, you did fire at him. You are strong,
Yeah.
right?" So it would have got that, but his friend would have still gotten away. So he would accomplish what he really wanted was to let him get away. So I just think it could have been written a little bit better at the end. That was the disappointing part. Not that he got away or that Ducat was upset, which is kind of a fun thing to see,
Yeah.
um, but that they could have done something very clever there, and they didn't.
Honestly, that moment was one of the things that kept me from like it took me a long time to like Cisco. And that moment was actually one of the things that kept me from liking him was like, that was really weak of you, dude. Like, yeah, you were trying to protect your friend, but like a good friend wouldn't. Good friends don't let their friends fuck up like that.
Yeah. Ducat was right. It was weak of him not
Yes.
to do something there.
Yeah.
But I guess I could call it and say, well, it was his friend. 6 1 half dozen the other. See where I'm at?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah.
I really do. Um, and we get to we get to see Admiral Nechev in all of her bitchiness.
Yeah. Now
Back
you have to
back
go over
in
that with me because I pronounce it different than I'll ever, just about everybody else does. I put a very hard AY in there, Nechayev.
Nechev.
But some people don't say that. So I don't know which the right way is. If I
I
listen to
don't know
Picard say
either.
it, he puts the AY in. But
Yes,
if
he
you listen to
does.
other people say it, they don't.
That's true.
So I don't know what's going on there.
I don't know either. Honestly, now that you've pointed that out, now that I think about it, you're right. Picard does put the very strong emphasis
Yeah.
on it.
It's maybe it's his French character,
Maybe.
or maybe it's his British accent.
Accent, maybe. But
Um,
yeah, she's there in all of her
Admiralness.
admiralness. Yeah. How is Commander Hudson viewing this? I'll
I
have
just
to
want to
ask
see I just want to see a scene where she has a romantic relationship with somebody.
him.
That would
You
be so awkward because she's such a
would.
bitch,
She
man. She's just a
is.
fucking bitch. And just to see some guy like kiss her on the neck would be like, oh, oh,
Like that Vulcan, what was her name? Zakota?
yeah.
She was more tender with Quark than
Did she remind you of Troy at all?
Zakota?
Yeah. Not not
Um,
in action, but just her face and her lips and her eyes, her facial features. She looked a little bit like Troy when she was young. Maybe not
huh.
quite as exotic, but I was like, no, that's not her. I had to think twice. She was cute though.
I thought that was an interesting way that they did that deal with Quark and the Vulcan. Like I
Mm.
like the I don't know what it is about the juxtaposition that the writers in Deep Space Nine like to throw at people, but I really like it. Like the you throw the Vulcan and the Ferengi together to make a weapons deal.
I had a hard. The weapons deal kind of was good. I had no problem with that, but the romantic thing, I couldn't buy into it. I mean, there's a certain amount of it just with a science fiction series in general, there's a certain amount of suspension of disbelief, but that was just too wide of a gap for me to make because
Yeah,
I
I'm with
know what Vulcans are like, and
yeah, I didn't buy the romantic thing either.
no,
I bought Quark trying to do it, but I didn't buy her like
the,
acquiescing.
the whole I'm gonna melt that cold exterior would
Yeah.
would be vile to her.
Yeah.
That would make her not be inclined to do something.
Yeah.
So
I did like the I see, and this is why I kind of like Quark because I like the way he thinks, even though he's a shrewd bastard. I like the way he explains to her the acquisition of peace.
Yeah.
and the price of peace. And why would you want to pay a higher price than necessary for peace? That's illogical.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, that's just brilliant.
Yeah.
Like, I
Very much so.
say what you will about the Ferengi, but that was a very shrewd way to move to get the location of that weapons or of that attack.
Yeah. I just have a general hard time with the Ferengi all around. And it's maybe because there's an episode where Quark kind of explains our like Starfleet's discomfort with the Ferengi.
Mm.
He says, we remind you of the capitalist pigs you used to be, or something along that
Yeah,
lines. And he's right. I don't like Ferengi because they are what is basically wrong about our own greed.
true.
So every time they get on the screen, they start talking about how money is the most important thing to them. It just kind of turns my stomach.
Yeah,
So maybe that's the
I
reason
see
why I'm
that.
so revolted by them. But not that Armin Shimmerman is a really fine actor. He really is. He is the embodiment of a good Ferengi. He just you can't find any actor who plays a Ferengi better than him.
Yeah.
But I just don't like that whole species. There are certain species where I just can't handle them. I just don't like them. And that's one of them. The fish guys in TNG, the ones that turned out to be saboteurs.
Oh, the ones that Luoxana is all
Oh
freaked out
yeah.
about.
Oh. No, I don't like them either. That's one of the
I'm
things about Star Trek that really drives me crazy is that some of their aliens are just brilliant. They're just, that's so good. And then there's ones that are just like, oh, that's so awful.
But maybe maybe they did that on purpose. Maybe
Maybe.
because there are some humans that you look at and you're like, holy shit, that's
Mm.
amazing. And then there's other humans you look at and you're like, oh my God, how are you alive?
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's not just the prosthetics, it's the race, the background, the
Yeah.
information. Like, let that be your last battleground. The
Mm-hmm.
Charons.
Mm-hmm.
Brilliant. All it is black and white paint, but it's the whole concept, the idea behind it is so good. And then you have the information guys, the guys who look like worms.
Right.
I can't remember their name.
Neither can I. But I know
It's
who you're
just like,
talking
oh my
about.
god, those people are just ew.
Or the in TNG the Barzans really pissed me off.
Oh yeah,
The
yeah,
people who were selling the wormhole,
yeah.
they were like, we don't like we just they're so fucking lazy.
And the clips on the corners of their mouth, those circular metal clips on the corners of their mouths. It's just like, why would you do that? I don't know. There's a guy next to me who is next to my house. There, that's doing some work in the yard.
Mm.
So if you hear like sounds of um, lawnmowers and that kind of stuff, he's just
No,
cleaning
man,
up my lawn for
your
me too.
mic is like so good that it
Mm.
doesn't.
It's not the mic, sweetie.
I
Sorry.
it's
Um,
fine.
but yeah, it doesn't pick up much. You're right. It
Yeah.
doesn't pick up much past like 5 or 8 feet, and then after that, you don't hear anything. But in case it comes through, I mean, I
Yeah.
can hear it in my headphones. But anyway, what's going on with Skep Talk?
I don't know. He said he was coming. I hope everything's okay.
So yeah, but anyway, it's not that Armin Shimmerman's not a brilliant actor or anything along that lines. But I just have a hard time with it. And that's really the whole thing with DS9. When we first talked about, we're going to do DS9 next week, you heard me growl underneath my breath.
Yeah.
Well, not so much underneath my breath, but I just that's the whole thing. If they were just taking the Ferengi out of that whole mix,
Yeah.
I think I would much more embrace DS9. They are really the 80% of my hesitancy with the entire series. But
I can see that because there are some of the Ferengi episodes are just like, oh Jesus, why are we doing this?
naked Ferengi women,
Yeah.
please.
It's crazy. There's they're like the Grand Magus.
Mm-hmm.
I don't, and it's annoying because I like the actor,
Mm-hmm.
but it's just the Grand Magus in that capacity is just so aggravating. Like I get what you're saying. Um, but one of my big things that I really like about this episode is
Mm-hmm.
Odo.
Oh, the fact that he can't get enough authority to do the station
Yeah,
properly. And then
yeah,
she points
and
out it'd be just like the Cardassians if you did, and he was like, "Yeah, but it worked."
yeah,
That's a great line. He's
but
right.
it was safe. Like it or not, it was safer then.
Yep, yep, he's right.
And just or when he's got Quark and he's like, and how long do I leave him here? And Cisco's like, forever. And then Odo's just like, okay. He just walks out without saying anything. You know, just Rene Auberjonois does such a good job playing Odo.
Yeah, he does.
I really enjoy I really enjoy it. It's hard though because he narrates a great deal of the novel series of
Mhm.
books that I really like to read. So it kind of makes me giggle because sometimes he sounds like Odo when he's reading. So it's like, okay, that was totally an Odo moment.
The only thing I have about as far as Odo is concerned, the only complaint I have is that they didn't move him forward generationally. He is pretty much the same person, at least physically the same person at the beginning of the entire show, a series.
Yeah.
At the beginning as the end, he never really evolves. You get a backstory, but the person himself doesn't really evolve. He doesn't find a true love. He doesn't master his ability to shapeshift. There's just a lot of things where they just never develop him. I think at some point, maybe fourth, fifth, sixth season somewhere, he should get the ability to not wear so much prosthetic makeup.
Yeah, that's true. Like there are so many times where I found myself, and I haven't even finished the series yet, but there are times where I've been watching and I've just been screaming at the screen, "Why?" Like in regards to Odo,
Yeah.
because there's so many lost opportunities that the writers missed, and I'm just like, "Why?
Yeah.
What are you doing?"
I really think at some point in the show they should have given him the ability, maybe over a period of time, made him just a little bit less prosthetics this year or a little bit less prosthetics that year, and just
Yeah.
get to a point where, or even make a show of it, make one episode where he's like, I'm trying to do this, and he gets to the point where it looks like almost perfect or is perfect, but he can only hold it for like an hour, and then he has to revert back. And then, as time goes by, he's able to hold it longer and longer and longer. Show some progression,
And if they wanted to keep the joke, they could still have him not be able to do a nose.
Yeah, right, right. Which is by far the easiest thing, really. If you look at the face, trying to get the eyes right would be terrible, but getting the nose, because he gets eyes.
Mm.
He gets a squishy, round, white orb inside of skin with a bone structure. That works, but a round lump, out of the question. you know, Wait a minute, that doesn't make any sense. If you can get eyes, hell, you can get a nose easy.
War Dog Leader is saying that Odo does find a true love, but then he said, "Oops, have you not seen all of Deep Space Nine?" Hammer has, I think. I
I
have
have.
not. I have seen up to season 6. I'm still working my way through.
You haven't seen all of it yet?
Not yet.
Wow. We have to parse Skep Talk if he ever makes it on, and Polly at some point in the future. Have these guys all seen the entire show? Because it would be funny that the person who dislikes DS9 the most is the one who has seen most of the episodes, or
I'm
all of the
pretty sure
episodes, right?
Polly's seen it all.
Has he? Well, yeah, but he has poor taste, so Mhm. Any chance I can dig, I'll take it. But
Skep just retweeted the tweet, so hopefully he'll be.
he's he, he's promoing, but not actually showing up in the show. That's brilliant. Anyway,
War Dog says, "Yeah, I'm gonna just say nothing. I've seen every season."
Yeah.
Okay.
I have too. It would just be funny that the person who dislikes DS9 the most is the one who's seen the most episodes. That would be funny. But I will say some things about this that it beats in Voyager is that this episode is well paced and completely full.
Yes.
It's not overfull, it's not underfull. It's written well beginning to end. Everything has a time, everything has a place, it belongs. There's nothing that's out of place. The scenes on the planet, the scenes in the council chambers, with Nechayev, with in the ships, the fighting scenes, everything is of the appropriate length for a two-parter.
Yeah, I agree.
It is very well written in that respect. So that's something I don't think I can say for any two-parter in Voyager.
And I think the actors, all of them, did a really good job. Like you like one particular scene, you when Cisco walks into his quarters and Ducat's there. And the first thing he says is like, "Where's Jake?"
Yeah.
Like Avery Brooks does a good job of, "Oh shit, there's a Cardassian in my room. Where's my son?"
I don't I guess because I'm used to Janeway and Picard, I don't think Cisco acts appropriately here. The reason why is just a quick question. What would Janeway do and what would Picard do? The very first thing, what would they do?
Security.
Absolutely. And what does Ben do? Not that.
Where's my kid?
Where's my kid? He goes to the kid first. Instead of saying, security, get here to hold this guy. So if he does have something over my kid, he doesn't get away. He doesn't think that way.
No.
He thinks emotionally about his son only and security. What happens if Ducat did have his kid and he called to ask about his kid, and then that allows Ducat to get away?
Yeah.
First thing you want to do is stop him and then go after your kid. And he went backwards. I was like, that's the wrong thing to do, Chief. I can see why you're a commander, not a captain.
Yeah, I could see that. I could see your logic there. War Dog, I have saw the first 2 episodes of Discovery and said, fuck that, and I have not watched a single one since.
I love you, man.
I refuse to watch that abomination. That is not Star Trek.
Yeah.
I will watch J.J. Abrams' Star Trek.
Yeah.
Before I watch that.
There's a reason why that episode's initials are STD.
Yeah.
Yeah. Geez, I guess at some point we're going to probably have to go off onto Discovery. Maybe have an episode dedicated to how much we hate it.
Yes, I agree. Kira. It took me a while to like Kira.
Yeah.
And this episode is one of the reasons why it took me a while to like Kira. And also, here's another scene that, like, I didn't start liking Cisco until season 3. And there's a scene in this episode that helps me dislike him a bit as a commander.
Mm.
And it's when Kira is mouthing off to
and he yells back at her.
Yeah, in front of Leggett Parm.
It's a challenge to his authority.
It's a challenge to his authority, and he does not handle it well.
Yep.
He does not handle it well. Like,
I could see the other captains in this, you know. I could see how the other captains handle it, and all the other captains handle it better.
Yeah. Even Janeway.
Yeah, she would just lower her head and sneer. Listen, Commander, I'm in charge. You know, she would just, she puts her head down and wrinkles her nose.
Yeah.
You could see that right away. She's like, you know, we may have to talk, but this is not one of those times. I'm making the call, and we're going to do this.
And then after Leggett Parm would have left, she would have been like, you stay here.
Yeah.
You know, like, and there would have been a dressing down.
Yes, there would have. Maybe not for Kirk. Kirk would have been a little bit different. Kirk would have just shut the guy up by intimidating him,
Yeah.
but he wouldn't. He would let him off the hook too. At the end of it, he would have been like, "Look, I understand what you're saying. I understand where you're coming from."
Yes,
But
but in front of the other guy, he would have
Picard
been
would just
like,
turn Picard would just turn around and raise an eyebrow, and the person yelling would shut up right away.
yeah.
Like, oh,
Yeah,
I
Picard would
shouldn't
just
be
give
saying
the
this.
look, the really?
Yeah, exactly.
Now?
And that's why Picard is my guy. Picard
Yeah,
doesn't have to yell. Picard doesn't have to sneer. All he has to do is look at you once, and you're like, "Oh shit, I shouldn't have said that." You know?
exactly.
Oh man. Anyway, but yeah, no, I mean, I guess every captain has to be different, and I'm sure there was a lot of give and take for the actor there to give his input, and maybe he felt that an emotional captain or commander at this point is a better choice for Trek than to have the analytical or the passionate or the authoritarian of the other captains. Maybe he wanted to be different.
Yeah, maybe because
There's
I
going to be
think,
comparisons, right? People are going to say,
yeah.
"Oh, he acted too much like Picard," so he
Well,
had to be
Cisco
different.
definitely had some baggage.
Well, yeah, his wife died and all that kind of
Yeah,
stuff.
like he had baggage. His wife died. He showed up to a post he didn't want, and then they told him he was the emissary of an
Which he
entire
didn't want.
people, which he didn't want. And
I got to tell you, his wife, man, she's a gorgeous woman. Holy mackerel! Sorry, off track,
she's got a
but
nice voice, though.
she's just a pretty
I
girl.
really like her voice. Like,
Yeah, it's very smooth. But yeah, he's in a tough spot. Everything's going wrong.
yeah.
So maybe being emotional is an appropriate response, considering that you're wrong in every way you turn. You just get frustrated.
Well, and that's kind of a theme for this episode, too, because no matter what he does,
Yeah, yeah, he's screwed no matter what he does.
he's,
He goes
yeah.
against his friend, he's screwed. If he goes against the Kardashians, he's screwed. He just can't. No matter where he goes, he's screwed.
And
Yeah,
then, like he gets, this nice commendation from Starfleet at the end, and he's like,
he's almost disgusted.
yay.
Yeah, he's almost disgusted that he got it.
Yeah. And he even asks, and Kira's like, do you deserve it? And he goes, do I, or did I just prolong the inevitable?
Yeah, which is very true, very insightful at that point, because that's exactly what he did.
Yep. It's I really like the way that Starfleet, or that the writers of Star Trek wrote the Maquis,
Well,
because
I agree with you. I agree with you, but they made one huge glaring mistake for me, looking at the entire series, is they didn't end it with DS9. They ended it with Voyager. You don't hear the story of the Maquis until the 4th season of Voyager, when you find out that all the Maquis are wiped out.
yeah,
Why would you do that? Why, as a writer, you have your show. Why would you leave such a big component of your show to be solved in another show?
yeah,
Anyway, that's just one thing I have. But otherwise, yeah, you're right. The Maquis are written really well.
there you feel sympathetic
Yeah,
for them, but at the same time you're like, dude, stop.
yeah,
Just stop. Like, because Starfleet labels them terrorists, and you look at them and you go, yeah,
yeah. They are.
you
They
are
are.
terrorists. You are like, and then the Maquis, oh, but we have a reason, and you're like,
There's no reason for
but you're
terrorism.
terrorists,
Yeah,
like
yeah, exactly. Yep, yep, yep.
we
But terrorism.
understand why, but you're still terrorists, and you need to stop it. Like, just, oh my gosh, it's the best written problem, I think.
Yeah, it is a good idea. I'm really not a big fan of the name. Do they
The
really have to
Maquis.
yeah, they really have to bring the name of a World War II resistance cell back to life again?
Mm,
The whole French resistance to Maquis.
yeah.
Yeah, they didn't really have to bring they could have come up with a better name than just to reuse history like that. I don't know. I didn't get that, but there are. You see, the World War II runs through just about every Star Trek at some point anyway. You see it in Enterprise with that guy when after the um, after they blow up the sphere, um, the captain ends up in World War II, and then you see a piece of the action original series.
Yeah.
They're in Gestapo outfits, or not a piece of the action. The other one, the one with John Gill, that's Nazi Germany. So it seems like Star Trek, every Star Trek show, even with Voyager, they end up, being in a Nazi Germany somehow. Somewhere along the way, you end up in an episode or two that has something to do with Germany, Nazi Germany, that kind of stuff, World War II.
And you even see it in Voyager in the Killing Game. You've
Yeah.
got them playing out
Yep.
World War II on the
Yeah,
holodeck.
they're actually in the French Resistance.
Yeah.
So it seems like they touch on this every show that they do. They touch on Nazis somehow, or World War II. So it doesn't surprise me so much that they actually use the Maquis from the French Revolution, or the French Revolution in World War II.
Yeah.
Resistance, not revolution. So it doesn't really surprise me. But I was like, Maquis, really? You had to use that word? Couldn't come up with something else? Not very original. Anyway.
I don't know. Despite that, I really like the way they write the Maquis. And honestly, I can't wait till we get to talk about Commander Eddington.
Yeah.
I hate that bastard.
Do you think that the Maquis should have won? Because to be honest with you, granted the whole shit thing that happened with ending it in Voyager, but if they would have ended it in DS9, I would have liked to have seen the Federation win.
Didn't the Jem'Hadar destroy the Maquis in the end?
All I can remember, because I know Voyager better, is that B'Elanna finds out that all of their friends are killed.
Are dead, yeah.
Yeah. And
Or
that
in
for
prison.
me, dead or in prison, that marked me that at that point in time, which was chronologically after the DS9 show had ended, is when that took place. So that's what bothered me about that. I was like, if she just found out later something that actually happened in the time of DS9, all right, that's cool. It took her 3 years before they showed up because they're so far away they couldn't get the information. All perfectly fine. But to hear that it actually happened in real time at that point, I was like, wait a minute, that's after DS9 was over. Why would you write it that way? It didn't make any sense. But thinking to myself, if it would have ended in the time of DS9, like I think it should have, I would have liked to have seen the Maquis win. And, it would have been terrorism wins. Okay, wrong. However, I would, in the back of my mind, I would be like, yeah, it still would have been like, the Federation won again. Yay.
Could there have been a way to have the Federation defeat the could they have written a way to have the Federation figure out the Cardassians were lying and have them
there could have been a resolution. I came up with a resolution almost immediately when I first understood what the Maquis was about. And it was that the Federation themselves came in and said, okay, we drew the lines wrong. Here's our 4,760 ships. We're putting it back the way it was. And the Cardassians saying, okay, sorry, no problem. You get them right the way you want.
Yeah.
That would have been that didn't take long for me to figure out that solution. And the Federation just says, look, we made a mistake. We're going to put it back to the way it was. And that's the way it's going to, you're going to get your planets back. We're going to get our planets back. And if you have any question, please talk to all of our phaser banks over here.
Yes.
That would have been a great way to solve that problem.
Yeah.
But they had to have that problem. This is not drama if they don't have that problem. You know what I'm saying? They have to create drama, and they can't create it within the Federation. At least Gene Roddenberry didn't want them to do that. So they had to make it a conflict with somebody else. So what kind of conflict? Oh, let's make a border skirmish. Sound like the Southern Wall by any chance? Yeah.
So we have let's see, we have we've covered the first part pretty well. Well, we have, and then the second part, we have Cisco trying to rescue a kidnapped Gul Dukat from the Maquis, which puts him in a really weird position.
Isn't it?
Because
Isn't it a weird position whenever you're dealing with Cold Cop because you have
oh
no
my god,
idea what you're going to be dealing with. One
that's
day he
why
is your
I
best buddy.
love Gul Dukat as a villain.
Yeah, and the next minute he's just stabbing you in the back,
Yeah,
and then he justifies the stabbing.
he does.
It's not that I have anything against you, Captain Cisco. I think you're the most wonderful guy in the world. Just turn around for a second.
Yeah,
It's like,
yeah, exactly.
wait a minute.
Here, hold on a sec. Could you lift your shirt? I like that shirt. I don't want to ruin it. While I stab you in the back, because
no, of course I had to stab you. Didn't you know it was coming? Of course I had to stab. It's like, wait a minute, no, you don't have to stab me. He's such a great bad guy. There's a guy, I don't remember who it was, Trek Universe or Trekonomy or which channel did it. Treknosphere. I'm not sure which one did it, but there was a Trek channel who has a YouTube video that says that the name of the YouTube video is A Case for Gul Dukat. And it's just about how you can sit here and justify everything he does as perfectly legitimate.
Yeah.
And if you look at it from his point of view, everything he does is perfectly legitimate.
It is.
A combination of what he sees are his options and what his culture is like. You combine those two, and the man can do anything.
And the actor who plays him sells it.
There's so many actors in Trek who are like that. I mean, the guy who plays Galron. Oh, those eyes. Duras. Not so much, but Kern.
Not so much, but Kern is another one.
Oh my god. They're just like such standouts in their ability to play the characters. And Dukat is definitely, no other actor could play this guy.
No.
That guy, I don't know who he is. I don't know well as an actor, but I can't see anyone else playing Dukat other than the guy who played him.
No.
Fantastic actor in this part.
Yeah, exactly. He makes the part. Like it's just like watching Robert Picardo. There's no other Doc. Like there's no other Dukat. And when you hate him, you hate him, and when you like him, you're like, why do you hate you like him?
No. When you like him, you like him. When you hate him, you still like him.
and you're like, why do I like this bastard? You're like, oh my god, he's such a slimy ass.
You kind of laugh a little bit when he does something that's just completely wrong. You're like to yourself, well, that's Dukat.
That's Dukat, yeah.
That's what he's gonna do. So the good thing is being able to call it. He's so well broadcast that okay, here comes the stabbing. Here it comes. And what's happening. It's just the characters in the show never see it coming, but we all see it coming because we're like, oh, this is Dukat. Watch what he does here. He's gonna do this, and sure enough.
And you can almost tell. You can almost tell who or what kind of Dukat you're getting depending on who he's teaming up with for the episode. Like when you see him with Kira, you're like, oh, he's going to be an asshole today.
Yeah, he is predictable, but only predictable to us, it seems.
Yeah.
He's not predictable to anybody on the show, any of the characters, but we know it's coming. When Ziel dies, I'm like, oh my god, he's going to lose his fucking mind. And sure enough, he loses his mind. It's exactly what was going to happen because I know how much he loves her. Granted, he sequesters her and all these things that he does, but he has justifications and it makes sense for him to do all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And she even buys into it to some extent because of their culture. But I knew when she died, I was like, first of all, I was very sad to see Ziel die.
Yeah.
That was a very sad part of the show. I don't think any part of the show made me quite as sad as that part. It just, I don't really even know if it was, if the writers really should have done that. I don't think they should have done that. I mean, I understand they wanted to do something to drive him off the edge, but there could have been other ways of doing it that weren't so heartrending. But it really takes, he has the most arc in the entire show. He really does. Look at all the characters. They're all not far from where they started. Granted, Terry Farrell dies, but I mean, their arcs pretty much are what their arcs are. They're pretty straightforward and standard. But he goes all over the fucking place.
Yeah, he does.
He loses his mind. He goes nutballs. That really makes him the standout character in the entire show.
Him and Garrick.
Did Garrick really change much? He still seems like a tailor at the end of the show.
Well, that's just his occupation.
Yeah, but he still plays that part. He doesn't really move.
No, but Garrick is. I like the lines they give Garrick.
Oh yeah, he's
Garrick
written
has
really well.
great lines.
He is written really well, and not only is he given great lines, and the actor is great at delivering.
Yes.
But they write them in exactly the right time.
Yeah.
They don't give it to you too early. They don't give it to you too late. They give it to you just when you need to hear it. Yeah. Excellent writing for Garrick. Actually, excellent. For as much as I don't like the show, it is really, really well written.
Yeah. I would say that it is one of the better written series.
Only TNG was written better.
I agree.
Yeah. And I think TNG had more ups and downs. I think DS9 was consistently over a period of time written at a higher standard overall.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Do you think it's because they had a longer story to tell?
That they went from episodic to a more, more of an arc based kind of deal because they had to.
Yeah.
They didn't really have a choice. So that gave them the opportunity to be more consistent. They couldn't encapsulate each show so much, although they did do that.
Yeah, we had a few episodic ones.
Yeah, but yeah, I think it gave them a certain amount of stability.
Yeah,
a better platform for them to write from. So maybe it made it a little bit easier, but it was a different mix of people writing, and I think that had a lot to do with it as well.
That's true. It's always because Voyager and TNG had the same writing team, didn't they?
Mostly.
Mostly?
It was just more of influence. You had Jerry Ryan had a lot more influence on TNG than she did on Voyager. So there's a lot, she was a writer and then an executive producer.
Okay.
So you don't get your fingers in as much when you're just writing. You get your fingers in a lot more when you're writing and a lot less when you're producing. So I just got a beep. Is that from Skep Talk?
It's from. No. It is from.
No, it's not. I thought it was. It looked like it was, but it's not.
I just got a beep too. Let's see if it's from Skep Talk. Yeah, I hope he's all right.
I can't talk. There are certainly times where Skep Talk was here and I wasn't able to make it. So we'll just miss him. Oh, just miss him.
No, but yeah, it's overall I really enjoyed this episode.
You guys might convert me a little bit here. You know that, don't you? These two-parters might kind of boost my feelings about DS9 because this one was really good. I really enjoyed it. So much so that I watched it. I watched it when we decided that we were going to do it. And you guys said, okay, next up is DS9, the Maquis. And I was like, great. And then we ended the stream and I was like, all right, well, I ain't got nothing to do. Let me go ahead and watch it. And I sat down and watched it right after we got off the stream. And I watched it and I enjoyed it. I was like, that was good. And then yesterday when I was getting ready, I was planning my day for today. I was like, oh, let's go over and skim that again because I liked it so much. Usually I watch it once. I'm like, okay, I got it.
Yeah.
I got this. I know what it is. I got it. I'm done. This one I was kind of like, that was a pretty good episode. Let me go skim over it again anyway. I never do that. And I was like, I must have liked this episode. And yeah, I thought about it. Yeah, I really like this. It was, I think it had so many good things about it. It was hard not to like it. There wasn't a lot of Ferengi in it, so it didn't turn me off. Well written, well timed, good pacing, great acting. What can you find wrong with it? I mean, the end was a little but all things considered, if you have, 88 minutes of good episode with, 30 seconds that's just a little annoying.
Yeah.
Well, that's still 87 minutes of a really great show. How can you, put everything away for that one little bit?
Exactly.
So yeah, I hate to say this, but I really really liked that episode a lot. Probably a lot more than I did a lot of other episodes for other shows. It was really, really good.
I agree. Like I really I have to find the next two-parter
I could
because
do
I
that.
can't remember what it is. But I really enjoyed pretty much all of this two-parter.
Is there anything that stood out in your mind that was like, don't like that?
Um, I know it's a nitpicky thing, but I could have done without that 30-second scene of Quark using the emergency signal to get the Grand Negus's son out of jail. Like that was kind of unnecessary.
Mm.
I know it's kind of a nitpicky thing. And then once again the letting Cal Hudson go without even attempting to fire a shot. That really bothered me.
Yeah. Just to answer your question, the next two-parter is the next season, season 3, and it begins season 3 with episodes 1 and 2. It's called The Search.
The Search.
And
okay.
Interestingly, halfway through next season, the third season, is the second two-parter called Past Tense Part 1 and 2.
Yes, that's a good one too.
So there's 2 next season. There's none in the first season.
No.
1 in the second season, and
2
in the third season. So
yeah. So we've got The Search next.
Yeah, Search is next. Part 1 and 2 is episodes 1 and 2, and then Past Tense is episode 11 and 12 out of 26. So yeah, beginning of next season is the next two-parter. So I don't, of course, I'm just looking at what I have on my hard drive. I couldn't tell you what any of these episodes are about because I haven't watched them, or if I did watch them, I don't remember them. So
can I just say one thing that I really enjoyed?
What?
The Vulcan Sakota trying to mind meld with Dukat, and he's just giggling at her.
He's giggling at her. Yeah, I got a kick out of that too. You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right.
She's like, I will rest and then I will try again. And he's like, really? That's all you're gonna do?
Good luck. I didn't know that, until that point that Kardashians were good at resisting that kind of stuff.
Neither did I, actually. But it makes sense.
Okay.
If you're gonna be a torture master, like if you're gonna be good at torturing,
you have to be against torture yourself.
You pretty well, yeah. And Dukat even says it to the one guy. He's like, "You're not gonna hurt me. You don't have the stomach." He's like,
Right.
"It takes anyone can blow up a ship. You can't see your enemy." He goes, when you know that you are going to kill someone and that you will see their face for the rest of your life."
Yeah.
Like that's
kind of a trope though, because I mean you see that in just about every good guy killing a bad guy kind of thing. I mean, I saw it, what was it, in Civil War or something like that for the Marvel Universe? Captain America is holding a bad guy over the edge. And the guy says, "You're not going to kill me. You're Captain America, and it's not in your blood." And he looks at me and says, "You're right." And he looks at Natasha and says, "But it's in hers." And she kicks the guy over the edge. And then the Falcon pulls him back up. It's kind of like, oh, I recognize that. I've seen that trope before.
Yeah.
So, but it's okay. It's okay. It's played well here.
Cult of Krill says there are 4 lights. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. It makes sense to me that somebody like Dukat would have training.
It does make Cardassians the most evil, because I don't even think Romulans are quite as happy to torture. They'll do it if they have to, as a means to an end. But it seems to me like the Cardassians enjoy it. That they really get something out of it.
Yeah. The Romulans seem more into intelligence gathering.
Yeah, they do it because they have to. We need the intelligence. Well, we'll have to kill them. Well, if that's what we got to do, then if it's going to get us the intelligence we need, then that's what we got to do.
Yeah.
But the Cardassians are like, ooh, I get to do I get to do that? Can I do that? Really? Ooh, goody.
Yeah. Interrogation? Ooh.
That's what we do. Now
Yeah.
you're talking my language.
And then you get the crazy scientists, interrogation and experimentation. All right.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you get that from Voyager with that
Krill
Kardashian.
Moset or
Yeah.
Krell Moset.
Yeah, Moset. Yeah, he
Yeah.
was, but he like all Kardashians find justification in what they do.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I'm going to kill 1,300 people, but at the end I'm going to save 5 million.
Yeah, look at the diseases I cured
It's
because
about numbers.
like I slaughtered so many people doing this, making this cure for this disease. Like, it's
even in Star Trek when Beverly Crusher finds that female doctor who tries to help repair Worf's back.
yeah.
She's like, you go right through living tissue to solve your problems. And it's just like, wow. Yeah. And the thing is, that is in our past. We had doctors who did stuff like that. Hopefully it never
Yes, we
happens
did.
again. But yeah, that's probably the best part. I talked the worst part is the Ferengi. I think the best part is probably the whole idea behind the Kardashians. I just think that they're not very balanced. I think their worship should have been more powerful or less powerful, not the level they were at. They were just 20% under the Enterprise.
Yeah.
But no, it should have been closer or it should have been further away. There should have been no less of a threat or more of a threat, not just kind of. Oh, there's 3 of them against us. Okay, now we're in trouble. We'll blow one up immediately. Suddenly you're not in trouble anymore because you can. The Enterprise can just target one guy and just throw everything at him and kill him.
Yeah.
And now it's 2-on-1. Well, now it's no problem. We've taken no damage because we just expelled everything on one guy. So now these 2 guys can't beat us. And so I can always take a 3-on-1 and make it even again or give us an advantage again. So that's the only thing I found about the Cardassians is that Cardassians. That's another thing. Oh, that reminds me. That bothers me. The guy that Ben doesn't kill at the end.
Hudson.
Yeah, Hudson. He doesn't call them Kardashians or Cardassians. He calls them Kardashians, K-A-D instead of K-A-R-D. I noticed that throughout the thing. I was like, that's not how it's pronounced. No. That's not how it's pronounced. No.
Maybe he had troubles with his R's.
Yeah, maybe the actual actor had a problem, or maybe the actor was never corrected, by somebody on set saying, no, I'm sorry. It's the actual name is Cardassians. I want to put the SH in there because of the
Irate Prostate says I'm watching part 2 of the Maquis.
I haven't talked to IP in a long. Hey, you doing, Irate? I haven't talked to you in like months. I can't see chat. I'm gonna have to have him on the menu sometime when I'm on. Yeah, but I mean, that kind of annoyed me that he was mispronouncing the name throughout. It kind of pulled my attention every time he said it.
Yeah.
Every time he said it. Well, he only said it like 4 times or 3 or 4 times like that, but every time I was like, no, it's not right.
I don't know. Like, what do you think? This is just a general DS9 question.
Oh, goody.
How good did Cole Meany do at playing that bloody Cardies?
Yeah, that kind of makes me uncomfortable. It's the same thing with what was the Pegasus? What was the name of the episode where they were singing together? The captain was singing.
Oh, the Wounded.
Well, I want to thank everybody for coming out tonight, and how you doing, Skep?
Good to hear your voice, Hammer. How you doing, bud?
Good.
You're the one I'm concerned about.
I was here on time, man.
What do you mean? What time is it? It's 1:54.
Yeah, we were supposed to do it at 1 Central, your time, remember?
Holy shit.
You're here an hour late, Chief. We missed you.
2 Eastern, 1 Central.
I've been retreating it at 2:00. I've been sending. God damn it! I came in from mowing the lawn. I was so exhausted. God, and I had a lot to say about this episode too.
You still can.
I'm so sorry.
Kardashian's big shoulders.
We don't have a time limit. We can
Yeah,
we
no,
can go over
man.
everything. Absolutely, go over everything again. The reason we could do this is because me and Blind thoroughly enjoyed this episode.
I
So
did
sitting here and
too.
talking
Well,
about
good.
it all day would be perfectly fine.
Yeah,
At least from my point of view.
we really I loved this episode. Hammer liked this episode.
I like it because I like it for actually several reasons, not the least of which it had Gul Dukat in it.
Yes.
Who is one of my favorite
Here we go.
characters.
Oh, same thing we just got done saying. Let me step away for a minute. I'll be right back.
Yeah, no problem.
I really am sorry for being late.
It's okay, man. It's all right.
People are really going to think I am senile, and I'm not that senile. I mean, really, God's sake.
Not yet. No.
yeah. Don't take me away.
I don't want to go on the card.
When are you going to be back around? Next Thursday. Oh, next Thursday, you can do something. All right. Anyway, no, there were so many things going on, and the writing was just so good all the way through. I mean, I really don't have a weak part of this episode as far as writing. I mean, there are probably some parts that were stronger than others. I mean, I'm not a big fan of the Ferengi.
Yeah.
I'm not their biggest fan, but you can play them for a little bit of edgy comedy, and if you don't overdo it, that works sometimes, and I think they did very well with that.
I love the way they had, as I was telling Hammer this, I love the way they had Quark broker the deal between
absolutely
for the Vulcan,
absolutely
explaining the logicalness of
the
brokering
rules of acquisition.
Yeah, you want to acquire peace. Fine, everyone likes peace, but
we'll
how
pay
much
anything
do you want
for it?
How much do you want to pay for peace?
Yeah,
Anything. Well, that's not logical. Like that
doesn't make any sense.
It's brilliant. I loved it.
Exactly.
I love Clark for that.
Yeah, and it just was, and the interplay between him and the Vulcan, woman, Ladonna or Kadana or whatever her name was.
I think it's Sakota.
Yeah,
I think.
Forgot what it was, but anyway, she was. That was just brilliant. That was a brilliant idea to have the two of them as the Sakona. That's her name. Sakonna.
Sakona. Okay.
Sakona. And it's just amazing, and she even shows a little bit of interest back toward him that you suspect might even be a little bit genuine.
Yeah, she's curious about him despite herself.
Yes, exactly. So, and also, I've always loved the rules of acquisition. That's the strongest thing about the Ferengi is the rules of acquisition. I've always said that.
Agreed.
So, that was played very well. There were other things. I mean, just from at the beginning, when they get in the runabout and Gul Dukat's console isn't illuminated.
Yeah. Isn't it customary for two people to be able to fly the ship? Yes. Well, what happens if there's an emergency? I guess you're out of luck.
Yeah, what happens if something happens to you? I guess you're out of luck.
And eventually he's like, yeah, I know all about these ships. It's just goes like, yeah, that's fine. I'm still not.
And yeah, so anyway, yeah. And plus there's kind of a recurring theme of Sisko getting one up on Gul Dukat all throughout the thing. There's that moment. There's the moment where what does he say to Ducat about he surprises him with the strategy, with the subtlety of his, strategy. And Ducat just kind of, Ducat has this look on his face and he just goes, I have, a lot more respect for this human than I did.
But then he loses the respect. Like, I like how they kind of go back and forth.
Yes, and then that respect all gets spent with the compassion.
Yeah, when he lets his friend go,
right,
just because they're friends, and
right.
he's like, and you know that Cal Hudson is not saying you were a good friend as a meaningful thing. He's taunting him.
Right.
He's taunting him. And Cisco takes it as, so long, old friend, you were a good friend, not a haha.
Yeah, exactly.
I gotta. And Ducat's like, what are you doing? Like, you can just feel it. He's like, oh my God, you weak
Gul
fool.
Dukat is actually cringing.
Yeah.
He's cringing for Cisco.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that was anyway, yeah. There was just so much going on in that I enjoyed it all the way through.
The fighting scenes were good too.
Fighting scenes were excellent. The even the sometimes they have a problem with fights between runabouts, fights between smaller craft, and the special effects, the visual effects, and it was better than average.
Something I put out was I didn't really like the way the special effects were in the fight scenes. I didn't really like them very much.
Yeah, they did the best they could, but it's not up to what we expect today. It's mostly a visual thing. Oh, thank you for barking into the stream, dog.
Is that Chloe?
Hey, please don't bark. Please stop barking. It's a German dog, but it speaks English, speaks some English, especially when there's food involved. All right.
Hi, buddy.
I miss you.
I missed you too.
Well, there's all kinds of off-stream stuff going on here. Let's see. What was the thing that I thought I wrote this down?
Alex just got home, so he wanted to come say hi.
I like the way that it was written so that the explosive device on the Bach-Nor had to involve Federation technology.
Yeah.
That was thinking ahead. Good. That was just a well-plotted episode.
I agree.
It was well-written, well-plotted
episode. I think that overall the two-parters in Deep Space Nine are much better.
That's not a high bar, but than Voyager.
I think they have I think their writing and their pacing is a lot better.
I just enjoyed this thoroughly.
Yeah, it's a great story, and it's a great setup.
Yeah.
Because this isn't over. Like you watch that episode at the end, it's not over.
Yep, exactly.
And I really like the way that they leave you going, okay, so when's the Maquis striking next? How are they striking next? Like
the Maquis are there to stay.
Yeah. And I like that writing. You're like, okay, so when's the next one coming?
Yep.
And and the characters are doing that too. Like even Cisco is like, because Kira's like, oh, good for you. You deserve that commendation. And he's like, do I? Or did I just prolong this?
And Yes, and is it me, or do the Maquis they don't seem one dimensional? Like, what's the name of the hunter race? The
Hirogen?
Hirogen. Those guys are just like one dimensional. They're one trick ponies to me.
Yeah,
they just come on. We're hunters. Okay, got it.
I was saying to Hammer that the Maquis are probably one of the best written problems.
Yes, exactly. That's what I mean.
Trek story.
Exactly. They're three-dimensional to me.
They're very well
interesting.
written. They're very well, and they're very frustrating because you can sympathize with them, but they're terrorists. They're straight up terrorists.
Right.
And you're like, oh,
kind of like the IRA almost.
Yeah.
A little more noble.
Yeah.
A little more noble than the IRA, but
just wait.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Just you wait. You won't say that much longer.
Well, I read up on the Maquis. I saw some of their exploits. They're pretty brutal.
Yeah.
But they have sophisticated weapons. They have sophisticated leadership. They're not idiots. They're not one-dimensional. They're not Vogons. They're thoughtful, sensitive, and deadly. That's a fascinating combination for a foil, which is what they are. So I like the Maquis, for the role that they're in. Very good.
Agreed, says Ginger Man bad, but Cisco had some of the most cringeworthy lines. It took me till season 3 to like Cisco.
Really?
And there are actually a couple of scenes in this episode that make me have a problem with Cisco. And he doesn't redeem himself to me until season 3. And I'll tell you what they are. One of them is the end, where Hammer and I agree that he at least should have fired a shot at Cal. Over his bow or something, just to be like, hey, I'm not afraid. Just because you were my friend doesn't mean I'm not going to take action against you. I'm letting you go this time. But I am not, this is my showing you that I'm not going to just let you waltz out of here. But he just let him waltz out of there.
I was a little more specific. I thought he should have fired and hit him, but I think he should have fired him with a shot that wasn't as powerful as normal. In other words, hit him, but don't disable him, because you want him to know that, I could have taken you out. I could have hit you. It wasn't the fact that I would have missed. There's no doubt I would have hit you because I just did hit you. There's the fact that and I know that I could hit you and stop you. But I intentionally pulled my punch a little bit just to let you know that I am letting you go.
Yeah.
That had to be very specific. If you just shot over his bow, that would have been enough.
Yeah. That's true.
Couple of thoughts about that. When, and admittedly, this is surface Navy, but a warning shot, if you fire a warning shot at somebody, if you invest a warning shot in somebody, it's because a violence is imminent. This is your last chance to heave to or to do whatever I'm urging you to do, because the next shot is going midships or your bridge. Okay, just so you know. And so you generally don't fire a warning shot with the idea of, well, I'll just let him, this is just, to let him know something. A warning shot is a shot that is likely 9 times out of 10 going to lead to sudden and terminal violence. So the other thing is that if he had fired on Hudson, say that he had hit him and partially damaged his ship, or to where it was degrading, where life support was degrading, and Hudson had said, you know what, we'll go out in a blaze of glory. My friend and I will die together in space. things can get very unpredictable in a situation like that.
Well, he
So
had
I
no
can-
weapons. That's the
Huh.
thing. Like
He had
Hudson
his
had
ship.
no weapons.
Yeah, he
He
would
had
have
his
turned and
ship.
just rammed him.
That's
Rammed it.
true. That's
Exactly.
true.
But when
Yeah.
I say shoot at him and hit him, I'm saying attenuate it so it's just a photon burst as opposed to actually being able to do any damage. Just a little pat on the butt to say, "Hey, this could have been. I
There
could have
is-
killed you, but
There is canon to support that you can lower your phaser intensity.
oh, absolutely."
Well, yeah, you know, I'm not sure how you stun a ship, but I believe that. You know, I totally believe it would not be a big ask, you know, of the viewer to if they did that. You know, I can see that as a potential. Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah, it's just the you know and I know what could really happen here
Yeah.
kind of deal. You know, I think that would have been a great way to end that as opposed to the, oh well, let me just yell at you a bit and bye. Come on.
And the other moment that made me kind of not like Cisco more as a commander
Mhm.
was
He's actually a terrible commander.
yeah. Kira is bitching at Liggett Parm. And all he goes is Major. It's like, really?
Yeah.
Like, freaking, we were saying that, like, Janeway would have given that sneer
Yeah.
and would have said, like, Commander or Major.
We may not agree, but I'm making the call, and
Yeah.
it's my call, and that's how
Yeah.
she would have handled it.
Yeah.
And then
Which-
she would have held back the offending officer after the
To have a
dignitary
word.
left to have a
Right.
word.
Right.
Or
exactly.
Picard, as Hammer said, Picard would have just given you the eyebrow.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
You know,
the raised one eyebrow.
Yeah, that one eyebrow that says "really."
Right.
Exactly. And then whoever was yelling would shut up right away.
Yeah, but Cisco is just like Major.
Yeah.
Shut up, Wesley.
Shut up, Wesley. You know, criticize in private, praise in public.
Yeah.
The fundamental, most basic thing in
Tenet.
management.
Yep.
Really, general management, but certainly in military management. Well,
People are so snobby about Star Trek. Oh, I rate prostate.
So anyway, let's see. What else there was? I did like there was a line at the beginning where Dax and Kira are giving each other shit about somebody Dax is dating. And
the guy with the
dating dating a guy with a transparent skull, and I like that. I thought that was funny.
I like Dax where she's like, well, maybe it's just because I've had more lifetimes that I'm not so particular.
Yep.
It's like, oh shit.
Does anybody else find Major Kira to be unlikable?
It took me a while. But I started to like Kira. I don't love Kira. Like, there are some characters in Trek that you love.
Sure.
Right? I like Kira a little. Like, I tolerate Kira. Right? But she is definitely not one of my favorite characters.
Kira's a little child who's not getting her way.
Yeah.
Yes. Petulant. That petulant little sneer.
And she stomps her feet on the ground.
No. I want to see my
exactly
father.
Right here.
I want to see him now.
Yeah, that's how I think of Kira.
Yeah.
I think she needs a spanking.
Oh man, not in a good way. That she's just.
Yeah, I don't like her much.
Kira was
irritating.
supposed to be Ensign Rolaren from TNG, says I'm
Yeah.
right.
She was.
I
She
would
was
have liked that a lot better.
She was supposed to be Ensign Rowe, and she was going to be Ensign Rowe until the actual actor said that no, she wasn't going to do it. Would have been a much better show if it was.
But the actress wanted to make movies and kind of failed.
Yeah.
Wow.
I can't remember the actor's name. I thought she was hot though.
I liked her. I really liked Ro.
The actor who played her, I was like, wow, she's really pretty. I really liked her, but yeah, she did a couple of movies, none of them really took off. So,
education is power, joy is vulnerability. Gul Dukat, philosopher.
I love that.
I did
Education
too.
is power, joy is vulnerability. And Ben's just like, what?
Joyless world.
And he goes, and Ducat's like, I'm surprised that this shocks you. You are the most joyless human I've ever met.
Absolutely. And I've gone, yep.
I love their rapport. I just the way that they were written to bounce off of each other is just, their dialogue is amazing.
Yep. That was good. That was really a scene that just made me smile. It really did. Oh man.
yeah, the actress's name was Michelle Forbes, who played Ensign Rowe.
Michelle Forbes. Man, why does that ring a bell? Michelle Forbes.
Yeah. I don't think she's really done anything big.
So our next two-parter is The Search, which is season 3, episodes 1 and 2.
I'm sorry, what I said it again?
Our next two-parter is going to be The Search.
Okay.
Which is season 3, episode 1 and 2.
Okay.
So I know that's one I'm going to have to rewatch because I only saw it once and I don't remember what happened.
Uh-oh, that's not good.
She was in Battlestar Galactica. That's what I remember.
Michelle Forbes magazine, says W.R. Costin.
She played in California, KAL, California.
Oh.
I'm looking through her thing and I don't really see anything here I recognize, to be honest with you. She was in True Blood a couple episodes. But yeah, not a whole lot. She was in the Chronicles of Riddick as a background character. She showed up in The Walking Dead. She was in Boston Legal. So she sold mostly television stuff. She was Battlestar Galactica for 3 episodes. Yeah, nothing particularly dramatic here.
Too bad.
From what I understand, the actual actress was quite difficult on set for TNG.
Yeah, this is what happens when you're 16 years old, get spotted by a William Morris agent in New York City, and get signed by the agency right then, and get started going into first of all, daytime TV and movies and so forth and so on.
So, were there any final words for this episode?
Good episode. I enjoyed it thoroughly. I will watch this again. I promise you, I will watch this again just for the sheer enjoyment of watching Gul Dukat chew up the scenery. He was great.
Yeah, it's a good episode. I enjoy it. It almost like, and as I said, it makes you sitting there going, okay, when's the next Maquis strike? And that's good writing, I think.
That's exactly what I was thinking. I was going to go through and start watching all the Maquis episodes.
Yeah.
Leave you wanting more. That's always a good thing.
Yep.
I think it was a great vehicle for Ducat. I think that was the most impressive part, was that this really fleshed him out a lot and gave you a lot of background into his psyche. And
yes,
it was well written for him. It was well written overall, but it was specifically well written for him.
Agreed.
Even the Ferengi didn't offend me too much, and they had a pretty major role in this. So
usually Quark is this is going to sound funny, the least offensive Ferengi.
No, I know exactly what you mean, because Ferengi bother me too, and Quark is he's interesting sometimes. Yeah. He has an interesting side to him when he's not being overly Ferengi, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
If they would just portray the Ferengi a little bit more without the whole acquisitioning and money grubbing, if they just backed away from that a little bit, it'd be a lot more digestible for me. But of all of them, I agree, he is the one least concerned with that. I mean, it's not so much that he's not concerned, like it's not his driving force. It's certainly something that sits in his background. At the end of his discussion with somebody, there's always, and you can leave a tip, you know, that kind of thing. Yeah. Where it's always in the background that he's thinking, but it isn't his be all end all. He's the only Ferengi really, I think, that has a heart. Maybe Rom, maybe Rom a little bit, but definitely, yeah. But definitely, Quark has definitely got, he sees, okay, well, this would get me a lot more money, but I can't do this to my friends. As long as he has that in him, I can handle Quark all right.
Come on, they were turned into space Jews, says Irate Prostate.
Stop
Jesus Christ.
That's that.
Well, wait a minute. IP's probably got a good point there, because you remember the original Ferengi from TNG, where they were just they were rats. I mean, that's who a lot of these stuff with Star Trek. They take animals and they make people out of them. Mm-hmm. The Cardassians are snakes, and the Ferengi are rats. And when you first see them, they have their laser whips, which make no sense at all, and they're violent and they're conniving, and there's no mention of money. When they beam down to the planet and they fight Riker, there's no mention of money and all that.
That's right.
That's not true. They say they waste gold on decorating themselves.
Yeah. Which, of course, the Ferengi end up doing completely.
Yeah.
So that was a not written very well there, or at least it wasn't followed properly. But the point being is that they appear to be vicious people, and then they turn out to be just greedy people. That's not necessarily the same thing.
No, it's not. Well,
IP says the whips are supposed to be the rat tails.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
Well, who knew?
That's a good point. Point. I don't know if that's I don't know if I've ever seen that written anywhere, but that makes a lot of sense, because they are supposed to be rat people.
Rat people.
They are.
I know. I just love that.
Well, I mean, that's something that's kind of a trope with Star Trek, is that whenever they take people and they make people fish people, or they make them rat people, or they make them baboons, or they always take an animal.
Neelix.
Yeah, I mean, they always take an animal and make him into a human being. It's never somebody who's.
Yeah. Is Neelix supposed to be a fish person?
No, Neelix is. I don't know what he's supposed to be.
Supposed to be a bird, isn't he? Supposed to be some kind of bird. I thought he was supposed to be some kind of bird. He's got that face of a thin, forward, pointy nose, pointy cheek.
He's got the bright plumage.
By plumage, he looks like a bird. But I mean, there's only a few like 8472, but I mean, it's completely computer generated. That's not supposed to be anything.
Yeah.
But even the people who deal in information, they have that neck that's all folded in the back. They're supposed to be worms. Supposed to be worm people. It's just it's just too much of a trope. But suspension of disbelief.
Yes.
The nature of fantasy. So why we love it. Irate Prostate is dominating chat.
See, IP seems to know a lot about Star Trek. We should get him in here.
Yes, he absolutely.
Considering
he's very conversant.
Considering how reliable that Poly guy is, gee.
Yeah. All right. If you're not busy next Saturday at 2 Eastern, would you like to join us to talk about the search?
Yeah, that's 1 Central, by the way.
Because we're just about done here, but I'd love to have you.
Sold that. Trust me.
We'd love to have you on if you're around.
Yeah.
Sure, he says.
The Andorians on Enterprise.
Excellent.
Shran was fucking awesome. Am I allowed to curse on your channel? I notice I'm cursing a lot on your channel. Is that okay?
Yeah.
Have you ever heard Pink Hollow?
I fucking love that.
Have you ever heard Pink
I really
Hollow?
haven't.
Yeah. Oh my god.
Well, you should watch The Blind and the Special sometime, and he'll
I can't even watch the Minions half the time, and I fucking created that group.
Oh,
at least not live. I always watch them after, but
yeah.
Your assignment is to bring your personality. That's the only thing you have to worry about.
Speaking of which, I'm going to just baldly do this right now. Am I hosting tonight, or am I just a guest tonight? You haven't talked with Reject, have you?
Huh?
Okay, no worries. No worries.
What are you guys talking about? Because I'm one of the people who are supposed to be taking care of the show, and I have no idea what's going on.
Okay. Yeah, Reject and I have it. We have it in hand. Don't worry.
Okay.
Do you guys need guests?
Pardon me?
Do you guys need people?
I don't know, because I don't know what my role is tonight. So Reject will let me know, and then
she's not going to be on the show tonight.
I don't know. I think she's planning to, but she said stand by in case she needs me. So I'm standing by, and I'm going to be on the show if she does host, and if not, then I'm going to host it.
Well, she hasn't sent me anything
for her request,
so apparently I don't need to know what's going on.
Yeah,
and there's nothing in Showtime, so. See, I'm justified not knowing what the hell's going on because nobody's saying anything to me.
Oh, well, that's always good.
Yeah, love the communication.
Yeah,
love the flow.
Real quick, guys, I just want to say thank you for coming out and watching. I know it's an adjustment for the new time, but pass it on, let everyone know, and hopefully we'll get a few more people in next week. I hope everyone had a great day or a great time. Thanks for coming, Hammer.
Oh, my pleasure. I love talking about this stuff.
Thanks for coming, Skep.
Thank you, and thanks for letting me come on late. I'm so sorry.
No worries. Join us next Saturday at 2 p.m. Eastern, 1 p.m. Central, where we will be talking about the search. And Irate Prostate will be joining us next week.
That's season 3, episode 1 and 2, the search.
That's correct.
Yeah. Okay.
Also, a quick announcement. The 500 subscriber special will be tomorrow during the Blind and the Special.
Oh, join me in congratulating Blind Press on 500 subscribers. Seriously, well done, my girl.
Thank you.
Very well done.
Congratulations.
So be sure to tune in tomorrow night at 10 p.m. Eastern for that, so that you can enjoy laughing at Pinkalo and I going insane. So I hope everyone has an amazing day. If you're around tonight, tune into Minions of the Zoo at 11:30 p.m. Eastern.
10:30 Central.
10:30 Central, yes. And thanks for watching, guys. We'll see everyone later.
See, it's an hour earlier. It's the way it works.
See you guys.
Bye.
Bye, everybody.